Linklater exercises.
Linklater, yes, that's what I was talking about. The spine stuff.
Okay.
So great.
In the whole, I did a weekend thing. It's about loosening your voice up, because especially having like a day job in tech. I end up like down here a lot because that's kind of how guys talk and this whole thing.
It's bad for your throat.
So yeah, it's terrible.
It's really bad. There is, I will say, there are things that have merit to them, but I like people to explain to me what we're doing instead of just being like, do this weird thing, it'll help. Like, why am I doing it? Like, give me some background.
Well, one of the things I noticed about my even in like watching this tape of us, is I tend to, just even being a taller guy, I want to be part of conversations, tend to do this, and so I've been just having some back issues lately. But
me being a shorter guy, I do this, and then I can be comparable by a small margin.
But your spine is so healthy. Your spine is so healthy.
Your spine
With a healthy
is strong.
spine. You just give me a taller seat next time, Dejun, all right? You
You
know
want
me.
a
We
booster?
spend enough of time together, all right? You knew what was happening.
Everyone else gives him a taller seat.
You're the only one who's never given him a taller seat.
Insane.
No, I'm okay.
you
I'm
can
confident.
sit on your trombone case if you want.
I'm okay. I'm literally, let's not talk about it.
I feel like
You don't want to talk about your height more?
I feel like being an enormous woman is kind of similar to being a short man.
Sure, yeah.
Because there's gender expectations.
Well, I know you don't want to talk about it, but let's talk about it.
We can talk about it outside of the vein
Yeah,
of
it's nothing
my
to do
own
with
height.
you.
Right.
and you don't. And if this makes you feel uncomfortable, we'll stop talking about it. But I am a gay, and that has nothing to do with the story, really, except for the fact that I had no idea that there is a thing with straight people where women don't want to date anyone who's shorter than them.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I am 5'10", so I don't live by that luxury. Women who are 5'4" and 5'2" don't want to date.
I didn't know
shorter.
that.
Children?
I've dated a lot of people my height. I've dated men who are very tall as well, but I've also dated people shorter than me because I'm a 5'10" woman.
It's never come up in like actually like dating. Like it's never been an issue, but just because like I see the stigmas and hear it, like I read it on dating apps and blah blah blah. It's like something that's in my head, and then people have like outside of like joking conversations, because I wouldn't date people who have that.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
The minimum.
Yeah. But I mean, I just always dated everybody. I was like, whatever, I don't care, you know.
Well, it's because you're a whore.
I think it's really slutty. Yeah, that's a different thing.
That is true. But I was working for this like fancy lifestyle company, and there were, for the first time in my life, I was around those like fancy women. I don't know what you call them.
Fancy
women.
They have cleanliness to
Yeah.
them, a
No,
hygiene
just
to
those
them
people
that
who
is.
care.
Who look like human Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
The women from The Bachelor.
The
Like
women
from
who
The
would never
Bachelor.
eat. It's those New York fancy, the fashion, the women who want to work in fashion. And I think they're like, and I was like, honestly, I think you're all ridiculous. But that was when I learned that, because they would talk about it, and I would be like, what's wrong? What is going on?
Yeah.
You're all crazy. I didn't know it was real. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
They really care.
It's real life, you know. It's why I'm insecure, but.
That's not a bad reason. That's a good. I think that's like, of all the reasons you could be insecure, that's like a very not a skeletons in the closet reason.
Yeah.
To be insecure.
Yeah. There was a very dumb thing I experienced on Monday night at a sketch show or improv show, and there was a guy in the audience who was 6'6", that was a friend of who I was performing with, and another guy who was performing, Jeremy, who's like 6'8", and I got to stand next to both of them. I was like, "You motherfucker!" So even though I'm 6'4", like I'm tall, but like being around dudes who are like this much taller than me, I was still like, okay, this is I kind of get it.
So relative.
It's
Relative and made up.
It's all, it really is.
It's something you can't control.
Yeah.
I always wonder what I look like because I'm 6 feet tall. I always wonder what I look like to people that are not 6 feet tall.
You always seem taller than 6 feet to me.
Yeah.
And you and I are 2 inches apart.
I know.
And I feel like you're so much taller than me.
I think to me, you look very braggy.
Wow. Zach, I'm waiting here. You know how you were like, Jay and I could never live together because we fight too much? I'm starting to feel like you're the antagonist.
Oh! He just called me a whore!
In a loving way.
Wow.
But Jay's taller, so it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
That's what it is.
Actually, you're actually punching up though.
I
so
am.
literally.
Literally.
So Zach, what school did you go to?
I went to a couple schools.
Boom.
The first school that I went to was called Lake Michigan College.
Okay.
Which is a community college in Michigan, in a town called Benton Harbor. Although it's way outside the town. It's literally in a cornfield. Like, they built this campus in the middle of, like, farming fields, and there's nothing around. It's near the highway. But it's a school.
You went to school in a corn maze.
I went
In a maze maze.
You get your degree when you find your way out. So my dad is like super educated. He has 2 master's degrees. And yet he, sorry Dad if you're listening, did really nothing to help me plan for college. Yeah. It's very weird. My family, it's very strange.
You grew up in Michigan, I assume, near Benton.
We moved around a lot. The last place I lived was in a town called Stevensville, which is near a town called St. Joe, which is near a town called Benton Harbor.
Okay.
Those St. Joe and Benton Harbor are minorly famous because they are, for a time period, and it might still be true, they were the most segregated cities in the north.
Wow.
Benton Harbor is like 90% African American. St. Joe was like 99% white. And one day, a man from Benton Harbor came over to go to a bar in St. Joe, and someone shot him. And then his body was found in the river, and there was not a good investigation of it. And so there's a book about it called The Other Side of the River.
So it's a black man that went to the white township.
Side, yeah. And this is like nowadays when this happened. I think it happened in like the 90s. I don't know where that story came from. Getting off topic.
You're just painting
you were saying this is why it's popular.
Yes.
That's why it's known.
But the college is very outside of Benton Harbor. So the college, my dad didn't teach me anything about college. The summer after high school, I'm sitting around working at a Big Boy. Not knowing what I'm doing.
Not the rapper.
No, it's a...
You weren't working for Big Boy.
I wasn't working for Big Boy.
I'm an Andre 3000 fan.
Yeah. Working at this crappy restaurant, and in like August, my dad was like, "Are you gonna go to college?" And I was like,
a month before you're supposed typically one would start.
He didn't check in before.
I had never applied to any colleges. I'd never done anything. They had never told me anything about it. I don't know why. I think I was very insecure about going to colleges, which is a weird thing. Maybe that happens to other people.
That's very common.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what college is. I don't know how to do it. And then he wasn't like guiding me, so I just didn't make a choice. So I was like, fine. So we drove to the community college, and I just signed up. And the first day I was there, I am taking this like stupid. They made you take like a aptitude test day one. I had just like passed.
People are coming from all over, so I assume that they're like, all right, well, what do you really know?
That's true. Although I just taken SAT and ACT and it did very well. So like you think they'd be like, okay, you're fine. You know what a rock is, but
wow, and I'm the
but
bragger.
is it?
So my first day there in this test, I sit next to this very beautiful busty lady. And we just started making fun of the test in the class. And then she goes, you should try out for the play. I had never done theater or anything. And I was like, you know what, whatever. So I did. And I got the lead like in the play. And then they gave me a 50% scholarship because I was in this play. And then the same, another person was like, you should also try out for the choir. And I did, and I got in the choir, and they gave me another 50%. So it was free.
Wow.
Went there for free at a music and theater scholarship. Now, this tiny, tiny school is in the middle of nowhere, but they have this massive endowment because this lady who was a New York City ballet dancer was from there, and she married, like, the president of J.P. Morgan.
Sure.
And when he died, she took all of her money, and she built this massive theater at the college and gave all this money to people to do stuff. So, yeah. That was, wow, what a winding story.
This is scene painting.
That's how you got to where you are?
I haven't talked about
community
college.
And one musical theater girl met you and she was like, finally, a gig.
Literally.
You should do the choir and the play.
I mean,
kill
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. There were people, this is before Will and Grace. So you know what I mean? Like, and it was
Did
great.
they give you another 100% scholarship when they found out you sucked dick?
As soon as I...
Depends on who you ask for the money.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to pay you.
Who's the they?
To be on all of our brochures.
Yep. I'm just down there on the brochure.
Yeah, you need a microphone. We wouldn't have known
Yeah,
right,
what that
exactly.
might have
We
been.
Fill
would
out
have thought you
all-
were singing if you didn't have the microphone.
Can you check all the fast foot options, please?
Yeah, so I went there and it was very fun, and I spent all my time just doing theater and music. I didn't really know, I had no idea that that was what I wanted to do with my life until I went there, and that part of it was good. I would like so blow off the normal classes, like they made us take like English, and I was like such a like, I mean, honestly, it was
How dare they.
stupid.
From the
It
English
was-
major.
It was,
Honestly, class blows.
It was so
Like
dumb.
generals, they expect you
They
to
made you take all
transfer.
these
and then-
generals.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I
Yeah.
was in, I had like 4.0 in high school. I don't need this, you know. And also like, I want to sing. I want to
Yeah,
dance.
high school is generals.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah.
the weird thing. I was like,
They just
more?
want your money, I
Yeah.
assume. I
Yeah.
don't know. Because I didn't have one useful class at that college
learned
except for
nothing.
singing and acting.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But what we were speaking about, maybe on a different episode,
Weeks ago, hours ago.
weeks ago, I listened to that wonderful episode and about how acting schools are useless. And I do think that they are to a massive extent because honestly, like, I got better at acting after I started doing improv
Yeah.
than any like roll on the floor for 3 hours class that I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the value and you had said something earlier, Taylor, about or somebody said about how they don't teach you why they're making you do the
Yeah,
exercise.
they don't teach you why.
And that is a very common thing in all art schools. And that to me is crazy. Like, I teach improv, and I always explain, like, this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in all sorts of training, you're just, they're like, wiggle your fingers and go, wah la 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 for 20 minutes. And you're like, why?
I'm so much better at something or learning to do something
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
accomplishing if I know what the end is supposed to.
Right.
Not
Yeah.
supposed to look like even, but what do you want me to achieve so that I know what this is for and then I can aim my intention that in
Absolutely.
that direction. Like it's so common
There's a
sense.
similar
but
thing, like even as a musician, like I was a saxophone major in college, but like or even in high school, it's not just learn your scale. It's like, hey, these are the building blocks for
Right.
all these songs you're gonna learn.
Yes.
Interval training and ear training and all this stuff. It's not just like, oh, hey, when is someone gonna ask you to sing a major ninth arpeggio?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, even I had played piano my whole life, but with just crappy old lady teachers in like their parlors.
Yeah.
And I go to college, and I was on this music scholarship, so I took the piano class, and they handed me scales literally for the first time in my life, and all of a sudden I could play everything.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, if anyone had just taught me
Scales.
what the point of this was,
That's
that
wild.
playing the piano, doing scales, I don't know. That isn't totally right, but
I always feel like I am so glad that there's always was a part of me that was like, I want to be in theater, I want to be acting and doing something. And then I got like sidetracked by politics and knowing how insecure I would have been as an actor would have crushed me when if I had done it in my 20s. You
Oh,
know, like
sure,
like
yeah.
I would have been a complete mess. I would have done all the drugs. I would have been I would have been as so skinny because I would not have eaten. I would have been so
You would have got the parts though.
I would probably,
you'd have
but
the
like
parts.
I am so glad. Yes,
have the
exactly.
parts.
So,
But I couldn't have done it when I work with I worked with teenagers on this movie and I was like, it's so crazy to me that you have this job. Like I couldn't do that job when I was 16. I couldn't have done that at all when I was 16. Like it would have been fun, but I wouldn't have done a good job.
oh,
Like,
absolutely.
it wasn't in my mid 20s that I was like, I could probably do anything if I tried it.
Yeah.
Like now I have insane, very overblown confidence. But like I was like, I can probably be really good at anything. But like when I was younger, I did not have that. So
Yeah.
No, well, and so I went to school there for like 2.5 years in Michigan doing all this music and theater, and I had huge confidence because obviously it was a super small pond. There were many things they weren't teaching you, but I was like, I'm hot, I can sing, I'm the lead in everything. So like,
Double full
Double
scholarship.
I'm writing
scholarship.
children's books.
I'm like
You gotta rhyme in
everything.
there.
And I always wanted to live in New York, so then I tried to get in school in New York. I actually only tried one. I went to the new school, and
For acting?
yeah. And when I came here, when I left that school, I was crushed. My confidence went to nothing, and that sucks. I almost wish I really wish I'd never even gone there because
To the new school?
yeah, I wish that like if
I
I
think it's
had
good you took a risk.
Well, I guess, but it ruined me, and I couldn't audition. I did do all the drugs, and I was super skinny. But, you know, like, I mean, that ruined me for years. I had, so, you know, I'm in this program, and I'm, like, singing as part of it, and you know, I go through this whole thing. I pay all this money to be there to learn how to do this stuff. And we have this, like, showcase. And at the end, we're in the middle of showcase rehearsals, and the director of the school, one day, I was so young, so I made this mistake. I said, "What do you really think of me?" Which is something no artist should ever ask anyone ever in their life. And she goes, "You're very funny, but you can't sing."
Wow.
And I was like,
Useful.
"I've been here on a singing scholarship." Like, what do you mean? And it like crushed me so much that I got out of school and I couldn't audition for years.
Jesus.
For musical theater parts. That's where
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, my sister went to school in the city, and she had a lot of experiences where, you know, they'll talk about, like, your weight, and and they will be so brutally honest with kids to the point where I'm like, this is not about the kids anymore. This is about you. And, like, you don't want to be where you are, and you're miserable, and that's why you're taking it out on 19-year-olds who, by the way, are paying your insane salary.
Those who can't, bro.
Or at least
Those
paying
who
an insane
can't.
amount that may not trickle down to whatever that teacher is.
Maybe,
like,
but I still think it's insane that these kids pay that much money to get treated like that at a school where that is a very common thing. And that I've heard about a lot that still happens. My sister is not that much older than, like, college age. And they behave totally inappropriately, and you're like, oh, so how much do you really want me to do well, and really want to teach me, and how much of this is you getting to grandstand and be like, when I was in the arts.
And that's why you're teaching.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, I think when you're younger, you look up to people with experience, and you're like, you know all the answers, so the answer you say must be right. Whereas, like, I remember telling you two about that. I went in to meet with some agent who called me in after seeing all my new headshots.
Right.
And she looked at them and she was like, well, these are all garbage. And
You brought me here.
I was like, you brought me in here after seeing these.
Yeah.
And I remember walking out and being like, I'm not even going to give that much more thought.
It's like
because that woman is a crazy person who has no idea. But I know that if it were 10 years ago, I would be like, I should just kill myself. I should just end it all because, you know.
When I first moved to New York, I was doing a show, like a musical show, that was a comedy. So, like, and it was at a comedy theater. The emphasis was not on the music, but I can sing. But we're about to open the show. We've been rehearsing. It's like an ensemble show. There's a lot of singing. It's a 2-hour show. We're about to open, and the director, the musical director, comes back to me and he's like, "Hey, I just want to check in with you and make sure that you can, like, sing, because just in rehearsals you've been marking, and I don't actually have any confirmation that you can sing, and I just want to know." Like, right before I went out, and I looked at him and I was like, "Well, I'm in this show now, so." I guess it doesn't really super matter, right? He's like, I just want to make sure you can do it. I was like, I guess that's, like, neither here nor there. Like, at that age, I was like, get the fuck back to the piano. Go back to the fucking piano. What are you doing? Sit down. Don't take your nerves out on me.
You can't just
weirdo.
mouth watermelon if it's just you. It's supposed to be singing.
I was like, go back to your chair.
That's wild.
I'm just doing this show for free, you psychopath.
Yeah, so your confidence can be crushed, but some people don't have that problem. I don't know.
Well, I needed age to not have that problem.
Yeah, definitely now I'm like, whatever. But, you know,
I'm
wasted.
23.
You don't seem to have that problem.
You don't have that problem.
No, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I've had good teachers, I feel like, throughout, like, high school. I went to a great high school, an arts high school, which is far different from an arts college, and just trying to, like, build kids and actually, like, nurture confidence,
tackle
and
the
not, like,
world,
break them down. So, like, I was playing the trombone in high school, and then my friends were doing plays, so I started doing plays, and that's pretty much how it goes. I just do what my friends do.
Yeah, honestly,
and I realized that I'm better at it than they are, and I keep doing it. No, but I mean, like, that's how I started out, and then I went to college because same reason. My mom she didn't, like, show me colleges and stuff like that, but it was a part of the conversation. It was like, you have to go to college, basically.
Yeah.
And I chose the one that was close and gave me a scholarship. And I went and I did communications because a friend of mine was doing communications, and I was like, I can do communications.
Yeah.
And then I learned about long form improv. There was like a club, improv club in college. So I learned about UCB, and then I started taking classes, and the rest is history, maybe.
Did you finish your 2-year like a program at
I had
two-year
enough
program at the
communications credits to go to the School of Individualized Studies and get a degree in applied arts and science with a concentration in communication, an associate's degree.
Love it.
So that is on a shelf in my room.
Love it.
So when a law firm says like Trevitsky and Associates,
Yeah.
you're the associates.
The associate.
I'm the associate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that I haven't had those like traumatizing experiences in like people. I've only like still like, am I like actor? Like I'm comedian is something that I had to learn to become comfortable with. Like I'm a comedian because every time I tell somebody that, it's like a whole thing. Like my
Tell me a
family
joke.
doesn't like get it.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
they want me to tell them, and they think that like talking in front of me is like a risk that I might like use it on stage or sometime.
Yeah.
And I was doing stand up, and I like want to do it more, but like I mostly do improv. So it's
You don't have to justify to us.
I know, yeah,
we
yeah,
believe you.
exactly. But like if you tell nobody knows what that is or what it entails.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like the like vast world of
Have
comedy.
they seen you do improv?
Yeah, and
Okay.
some of them were like, we didn't like that.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, it's not for everybody.
I feel like my
So-
dad's mind was blown the first time he had seen like short form like on TV, but he hadn't seen long form improv, and he was like, what? I hadn't done improv in like years, and he came to see me recently sit in with a team.
Yeah.
And he like really wanted to come because he came when I started doing it
Yeah.
and didn't know a lot about it and like saw it and was like, that's crazy, that's made up. And came recently to see me do a show and hadn't seen me do improv in a long time. And afterward, we went out into the lobby and the team was there, and he was like, I mean, I just can't believe none of that was scripted. Like the trick of improv
Yeah.
just gets my dad. We're like, it's
Yeah.
like math. There's like a formula, but like no. And he's
Yeah.
like, I mean, goddamn. I just don't.
Yeah, my
So how do you feel? How do each of you feel? This is something that I was talking to some coworkers. I was like, what are you doing after work? I'm going to do some open mics and then maybe go to this improv show. And then one of them said like, oh well, like stand up. How do you even do that? And I was like,
Oh, you're
all
the
right,
one.
you're the wrong person for me to have this conversation with. It's like
Yeah.
immediately I was
Yeah.
like, I can't bring the full depth
Yeah.
of what it is to want it to like have an idea, a kernel of an idea, have that stick with you for hours, and then be like, okay, cool, I can put this 30 seconds of what could be a 2-minute bit in front of somebody. Like, how do each of you deal with like non-performers trying to understand what it is that we do? And this could be more a real episode.
I
have a
use
couple.
sports analogies.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know sports, so I can't do that.
I always describe like Lloyd and Harold at UCB as like JV and varsity,
Oh, cute. I like
and people
that.
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
that's
nice.
the best example I have.
Mhm.
Usually I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't. I'll either like explain it to it
Yeah.
as best I know, and they'll be bored, or
Do you use Who's Line as a? I
Yeah.
use Who's Line or Wild and Out as a
That a
reference.
lot.
Like it's like Wild and Out but longer and no rapping.
I think a big part of it, so many of my thoughts go into every time I have a thought or a conversation, I think of how I could apply it to what I do and my job and like we joke about like everything's content, but like kind of like the moments where I'm not paying attention to talking are probably the ones where I'm saying the funniest things. So then you kind of want to be secretly alert in the back of your brain
Right.
at all times. But when people ask you how do you do that, they're not asking how do you write that. They're asking how do you get up on stage, and that's a different thing. That's the
Yeah.
part I don't think about.
I don't like that at all.
You
though,
don't
'cause
think
they're-
too hard about that, because if you thought too hard about it, you wouldn't
wouldn't do
get
it.
on stage. Like,
Right.
It's a stupid thing to
you're
do.
thinking about it too.
It's an embarrassing and stupid thing.
Yeah.
So if you thought hard about it, I don't think about it. So then I don't answer them, and I just let them think that what I do is like
magic.
honorable. Because people think performance, and I think this is true. I think I'm jaded about it because I do it, but people think performance is like this kind of great. They have like a lot of respect for it, which is great. But I sometimes think what I do is stupid because it is. When you
Yeah.
make something really stupid
Oh,
and you're
God,
proud
that
of
was
it because
horrible.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
but you're like, that was so dumb.
I have one stand-up joke that I tell, and it never gets a good reaction, and I continue to tell it because it's my favorite joke.
He only has this joke in his whole set. So
Yeah. I tell that joke over
10
and
minutes
over
and then he
of
leaves.
and over again.
And then he's a little
that.
toot, and he goes.
Alternative.
Yeah.
Alternative
That's my
comedy.
two. Yeah.
I feel like I get the whenever I'm home and I see my friends who have booked commercials on the television. I get so excited. I'm like, oh, look at Richie or look at Alex.
Yeah.
And my dad's immediate question is, oh, when are you gonna book one of those?
Sure, yeah, why not you?
When are you gonna book?
And I'm like, it is so arbitrary and it means
It is.
nothing.
Yeah,
But also,
for sure.
do your parents do that with? Because my mom does that with famous people too. She's like, why does Amy Schumer have a Netflix
Oh my
special?
God.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Every
We're
So
not the same.
I actually was telling that to a friend of mine, an amazing comedian, Alex Dixon. You probably,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And she said she was talking to her lawyer friend who was basically doing that to her, and she said, it would be like somebody coming up to you all the time and saying, when are you going to get on the Supreme Court?
Wow, that's a great way to put it. That's so
Yeah.
true.
My
As
mom-
if it's a thing that everybody will get
Yeah,
there.
most people don't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
true.
not why we're actors.
That's
Right.
yeah, there's so many enjoyable parts to it
Exactly.
that are like, honestly, being in a commercial is not the
Is
For
enjoyable
sure.
no,
part.
No.
That's the hard thing about like where I am now in it is that like I have to figure out what my goals are. Just in general, I'm still in that like college phase of like
Right.
Yeah.
what are my goals? What's my like 5
That
years from
never
now?
goes
Like,
It
what am I
never
saying?
ends.
And it
Never goes away.
Okay, yeah, it's good to know. That's good to know because it's I mean like I don't know. Like my mom just calls me every now and then like, are you auditioning more?
Oh,
Like I want to
God.
see you on TV and like blah blah blah. And I'm like, I could do that stuff because it would make you happy, but
Yeah.
like that's all the pageantry and the like having to get a haircut. I have to get a haircut. I'm like,
Getting
get
a haircut's
haircut.
what's
I
stopping
was,
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Small
it's
tasks
just
are
like
hard.
I don't know. I do it when it's time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like I don't want to have to do it because I have to look pretty for Walmart.
Yeah.
But
Depending on who you're playing in the Walmart commercial, then
Yeah.
you might not need a haircut.
Nah,
Might
well,
need to
it's
dirty yourself
it's
up
a
a bit.
first date that takes place in a Walmart,
Love
so
it.
You on the date?
Romance.
probably gonna need a
Love
haircut.
it. Budget, yes.
I was going to go out for that, but I'm going to be away on Monday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you'll be paired up.
I'm doing a self-tape instead of a casting director, which is great because I just got booked as a casting director
Love
in
it.
another commercial.
Love it.
So I'm like,
That's your
yeah,
vibe, I
this
guess.
is my vibe now.
That's your
I'm
vibe.
really good at
Those
casting.
casting directors.
How about yourself? We're on a thread of something.
Yeah, we were on a thread of what do you tell people who are
Oh.
non-performers about?
Oh, all of you?
Performing.
Oh. What do you mean you're on a thread? Like you're all talking on
No, we
Google?
were just,
We're
you were
on
in
it.
your
So I
He gets-
started
every
a
time
thread
he
with
hears thread,
everybody.
he gets like,
You're the
"Are
only
you
person that replied to the email, so of course I excluded you from
This
the
is why I don't want to
conversation.
I was like, what? We're talking about it now. Why are you guys on a group
We're all
me
friends
about
outside
this?
of this.
of like even the idea or like the philosophy of it's almost like getting into an argument with someone that you know you're not gonna win or something that's not worth arguing. It's like, hey, I can tell what I can explain to you, having given up whatever performing that someone may have, in high school. Like what I can explain to you or convey what this feeling is of being on stage. I can only convey a fraction of that because it's not translatable unless you're there doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I just try to make it sound like the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
You know, so that these people think like he is so special. Outside this office, his life is just like a movie. And I feel like that's a treat for them because it gives them like something to look forward to.
Wait, that's kind of true. I know that, like, that's true though. I used to work in an office.
You
and-
are a slut.
You are a braggy little slut.
You are a braggy little
You're a braggy
slut.
little slut. But I used to be in the office, and people would always be like, "I can't believe you go and do a second thing after this."
I know.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah,
blows
yeah.
my mind that you go do a second thing after work.
Yeah.
It
I'm
blows
like,
my
you have
mind
a
to go
kid.
home.
That's your
You
second
have a
thing.
kid.
You have a
You got
kid.
a
I can't imagine.
Ah,
Do
yes.
not give me a kid.
Yes.
Oh.
I'll give it. I want a high five. Thank you. I don't have a
Yeah.
child. I would not do well with one.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the typical thing. You tell. A lot of people today have more understanding of what improv is, which is
Yeah.
good. But I always use it's not whose line, It's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
and try to make it sound more spectacular. And I also try to, I do like to excite my coworkers with the journey of my life, but I also do sometimes check in to be like, is it annoying that I'm talking about this too much?
Yeah.
You know, but honestly, most of them don't have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And
really
clearly,
interesting.
nobody in your office has work to do.
Okay, so then I had this
I
audition.
did go to Zach's office the other day and eat cereal, and Zach
Yes.
sat the whole time with me, so that might be true.
It might be true.
You know
This was days
what was
ago.
useful? I was at I work in tech, so like I was at a conference in Canada, in Toronto, and it's like a tech conference. People are like kind of trying to do business, but we're all at these booths and manning them and stuff. And then after we're supposed to get wine and talk to people, my mind is like, my mind's on all the shows I'm missing. Like I could be doing these mics or something. So I did. They're like, oh, so what's improv like? I was like, okay, let's try a mind meld. And so with these
Oh my
two
God,
just people
what?
at a conference, we did a mind meld, and they loved it.
Ah, yeah.
They loved it, but I was like, all right, this is about the extent of
What we're
work,
gonna do.
of improv work I can do with you.
Yeah.
I got a lot of my team to come to. I was teaching one-off classes, and most of them loved it. It was very fun. I mean, improv is
It's fun.
for everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
it really is.
Yeah.
I did a.
I just get all of my life lessons are like from improv, like
Yeah.
through life. I'm like, oh, I can apply this and this and that, and then some things I learn in life, I take to improv.
Right. I do think it makes you a better communicator and a nicer person to talk
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I was gonna share a story that means nothing, but I find very interesting and funny.
Great, exciting.
Oh yeah, great. I'm setting it up.
Can't wait.
It's sort of like a mind meld thing. My mod team, we went away a few weeks ago, and for whatever dumb reason, we decided to start playing this game where we all took a deck of cards. Somebody took a card and put it on their head, and then tried to read the room to see if we could
That's very
guess
funny.
the card. What? It was so stupid. We played for like probably half an hour, and then somebody got it. Somebody guessed it.
On the first try.
It was Corinne Wells, and she she just jumped in and she got it immediately.
Oh my God.
We freaked
Witch.
out. I've never felt like that.
Witch.
Witch. She like was like she like afterwards she was like, yeah, I got 3 from you guys, and then I got hearts from here, and we were like,
Ooh,
That's
she's
witch.
a wizard.
Witch.
She secretly does mind reading.
Yes.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't play that game. It's not a improv game.
No, I swear, this is one more card.
I'm gonna do all my classes like that now.
But you don't explain why you're
I will
teaching the
never explain
exercise.
that
Just
one.
just take a card, put it on your forehead. Does mine say Rosa? My Rosa Parks? I don't know. You sat down when I held this to my head, so I'm assuming. This has been like from a college. Like, I don't think we need to do any improv games on this. I'm really happy with this. I do have a pop quiz though for you.
Oh, back to
Quiz.
school!
Yeah.
Back to school!
Bentontown. So this is the college quiz. College quiz. College quiz. College quiz. College quiz. Okay. So you went
we're
to
all just mesmerized.
you went to, you went to what school again?
Lake Michigan College.
Lake Michigan College. Okay. What year was Lake Michigan College founded?
I have
In
no
the
idea.
middle of a cornfield.
I have no idea. 1962.
Earlier.
1952.
Earlier.
42.
Later.
48.
Earlier.
Why do you get so many guesses?
Yeah, that's it. That's wrong.
Guesses.
That's a wrong answer.
46.
Oh,
1946.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, man.
It's okay. Let's see how up on your alumni news you are, even though you transferred. So, what new center is opening in 2019 at the college?
I mean, there already was a Mendel Center, which was the rich lady. Did they just rename another one after her?
No, this is a very specific center
A
that
study?
also you all can get in on this. It's in a similar world of bourgeoisie.
Okay.
Ooh.
Dining club.
Let's all register our answers. We got a dining club
Like a-
center.
Dining club. I don't know. I have no. I'm trying to figure out the definition for center right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with sucking dick like a Summerfield.
Wow.
Sucking dick like a Summerfield Center.
I mean, that was the scholarship name I read.
Yo, musical theater and voice.
Yeah.
A center. Gosh, I don't even
It's
know.
called the Center for and
Oh.
The Whirlpool Center for Computers
Yeah, let's just play
and
Mad
Science.
Libs.
Get science.
The Bear Center for Fish and Oats.
Okay,
Fish and oats, they love fish and oats.
close.
Yeah.
That's the closest one.
Is it really?
It is the Welsh Center for Wine and Viticulture.
Viticulture?
Oh, well, because St. Joseph County, actually where we used to live, I always tell people it's like the south of France. There were so many vineyards. And it straight up was beautiful. In like the summers, like the fog would like rise off the grapes.
Is
and
the south
sun.
of France also notably racist?
Yes,
or?
it's super.
It's
Okay, I
super
wasn't
The
sure.
most of
duper
France.
racist.
Okay,
The
most-
most of
Yeah.
France.
Yeah.
You turned out all right,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you came over to the other side of the
I
river.
left as fast as I could. Wow. That makes sense. There's a lot of vineyards there.
Okay, and
Mind is blown.
last one. Previously known as the Indians. What year did university officials
They were called that.
change the mascot after speaking with the Pokagon Nation Tribal Council?
Holy
What
crap.
year did they change
Did they only speak with them
the
once?
mascot? What's that?
Did they only speak with them once? Or was it?
Oh, I don't know. I assume it was a
probably
series of
multiple
ongoing.
conversations. Yeah.
I had no
meeting.
idea. I do remember that was their name, but like sports at a community college is not important. Sorry, everybody. But I would say
Okay.
2018.
Okay, so what year and then what's the new mascot? Can you
boy.
at
Were
least
they
say that?
called
I
that when
would-
you were there?
I would say they might be called the Geese because also the campus for real is a goose preserve or a duck
What is
preserve.
this place?
There's a moat around the campus.
What is
And it's a
absolutely
preserve
this
for you can't hurt. They poop everywhere and you can't hurt them.
You joked about having to swim to campus. This is a
Yeah.
moat.
That's
There you
actually
go.
It's a
true.
drawbridge.
There's a huge like lake around.
They
the
tried
entire-
anything to keep black people out.
Absolutely
You gotta swim here. I can't make it.
And if you do get here, there's a bunch of geese.
Oh no!
You better believe.
Black people's two worst fears: geese and water.
Honestly, that's heinous.
No.
So geese are also a problematic mascot then.
Yeah, for sure.
Also a problematic mascot. Less straightforward, but still problematic.
I have no idea.
Where'd
What
it
is
go?
there? What is
You
there?
lost the mic.
Oh, you okay?
So they
How
changed
long were you
it.
sitting on it?
Not too long.
I think you get the laugh, and then it came out.
Yeah.
Geese and
Water and geese,
and
baby.
water, baby.
Yo,
Oh,
bro.
man.
Geese
Yo,
Geese are scary as
bro,
hell.
I
If
was
you're ever
cross-
walking a
I was
dog
cross
with some
town,
geese.
homie. They had a bunch of geese. I said, "Fuck that."
Fuck
No, I
that.
don't like geese.
I'm gonna have to go
either.
to work
I was
tomorrow.
watching the first, that first episode of Transparent. Man,
Was there
You
a
guys seen
goose?
that
I haven't
show?
seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
yeah. There's like the main character like goes over to her like grandma's house or whatever, and she's like got pizza outside, and they're like, watch out for these geese. They're
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
nasty."
yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
they're
They'll
nasty.
hiss
They are
at you and
nasty.
they'll
They're
come
very
right
nasty.
for you.
Swans are worse.
Swans are
nasty.
the worst.
And they're
I
in
don't
our
know any
neighborhoods.
swans.
You don't wanna.
Movie, Black Swan.
Yeah.
But I saw
Great
black
movie.
swans.
One of my faves.
Great move.
Yeah.
But you were gonna. What is the mascot?
Oh, it's the Red Tail Hawks.
Hmm.
And it's 2012 is when it was changed.
Wow, that's much earlier than I thought.
And
But
because the
also-
Red Tail Hawks are the symbol of the Pokagon Nation.
Wow.
That's
so
good.
that's the
Oh,
dialogue.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
kind of nice.
You know what? Getting rid of the Native American names should be happening.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
the
yeah.
Redskins could take.
Why did
Yeah.
they do that? why did
Well,
why?
it's always been weird to me because we killed them, but we took their names. Why do you take the name? I
Of
don't
To
the
know.
taunt.
It's
To taunt.
To taunt.
Yeah.
It's like it is the ultimate. There's a painting. I grew up in Wisconsin, and there's a painting in the state capitol of it's like Captain Jean-Luc Freire greets the Native Americans during his first conquest of northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And the poster, I'll put it in post. It's literally like a Native American family scramble running away from this guy with two pistols on top of a rock.
God, Greece?
like,
what
yo.
an insane way way.
That's on like this. It's like the state painting. It's on the Wikipedia page for the state.
All
I'm
those
like, yo, bro.
All those Midwestern states, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, all those have that, and they almost all of our towns are named after Native Americans.
Oh, is it?
You know, and
Wisconsin, yeah, tons in
it's
Wisconsin.
crazy. I totally random, very quick. This Native American museum opened up in Detroit about 2 summers ago. I went to go, and I had no idea. Living in Michigan my whole life, you're taught all these wonderful things about Michigan, and it literally has just a record, because it wasn't that long ago. It was like it was early 1800s, of how they just went around and killed everyone in every town one year.
Yeah.
After, because the Americans fought the French, and the Native Americans sided with the French, and when they lost, they just for 1 year went around and murdered everyone, town after town after town, and then named everything after them. It was
That's an insane thing to do.
So check out Lake Michigan College. This is
Also,
the official.
just because it's relevant, and so that there's this, it's Whitesboro, New York, and their logo, they changed
Oh
it
my
recently,
God.
but it's literally a white man choking a Native
Oh
American
my
person.
God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
wow.
They've changed it so that they're just
Why is that-
fighting now.
why is that
and
your-
it
why is that the
seems to be-
homepage?
Why they even keep that? Why do they even have those two people on there
To
anymore?
honor tradition, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also, why
I
is that
love-
the homepage on your phone? Why is that the
It's not,
picture?
it's not the- it's my screensaver. I like to remember, you know.
It's just insane to me
Never
whenever you
forget.
hear that there are people that are like, no, we should keep it. And I'm like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
I was in upstate New York for a work thing, like a little work retreat, and I saw a dude like a F-150 truck with a Confederate flag on it, and I was like, "Yo, your state's team is the Yankees. Why are you wearing that?
Why,
It just blows my
People
mind."
don't know, man. They don't
Do you
know.
have a Yankees sticker next to it? 'Cause that'd be so funny. You are so
Jeter
dumb.
forever bumping.
So let's do a song. Ha 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 ha. I'm
Oh
kidding.
no! Oh my God!
I'll probably cut that out. All right, you guys.
No.
Are you about to take off a mask? I'm the dean of Michigan.
This has been a lot of fun. I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank all of our guests. Zach, Jay, Taylor, and Elijah. And we talked about college, a good segue into
Yeah.
improv, but the improv thing is a helpful thing, because we don't talk about what's after the classes, or what's even like what translates or what doesn't translate from